Tool holders are one of the most overlooked aspects of a machine setup. They're usually just you grab whichever holder is available to you, and if it works, it works. Hi, I'm Nick Ju. I'm the Research and Development Engineer here at Big DAISHOWA-Americas. In reality, the tool holder plays a significant role in the cutting action. Choosing the right one will definitely help improve your cutting performance, the quality of the cut, and thus the finished workpiece that you get. The main factors to consider for a tool holder's quality is its runout, the balance of the tool holder, its gripping strength, and the overall rigidity of the tool holder system. So to start, the runout, or the deviation of the cutter from its center line during rotation, really affects how that cutter is going to perform. A tool holder's runout directly affects your cutter's performance and its tool life. There is a general rule of 1/10 equals 10%, meaning 1/10 of a thou of runout change can affect your tool life by 10%. So for example, if you're using a tool holder that had 5/10 of runout and then you upgrade to a tool holder that only has 1/10 of runout, you should expect around 40% increase in your tool life. The gripping strength and tool holder rigidity directly affect how fast you can push your tools. The more rigid and stronger gripping strength you have with your cutters means you can push your cutting loads higher, meaning you can reduce your cycle times and improve your efficiency for machining. Similarly, a well-balanced tool holder can let you spin your tools faster, meaning that the RPMs can be increased and your cutting speeds can be increased, thus also improving your cycle times and efficiency. All of these tool holder improvements can directly affect how well you perform in your cut and thus how accurate of a cut you make. The better accuracy means you have better finished workpieces. The material affects how the cutting loads are on your cutter. So if you have a harder material, like a hardened steel, or even more exotic materials like titanium or Inconel, then you're gonna need to have a tool holder that can handle those cutting loads. So higher gripping strength and higher rigidity, like a milling chuck possibly, for those applications. On the flip side, if you're cutting softer materials like aluminum, where higher speeds are needed in order to prevent chip buildup and get good chip evacuation, then other tools technologies like hydraulic chucks or shrink fit systems that have really good runout and good balance might be worth considering. One of the most common mistakes is taking a one-size-fits-all approach to your tool holder selection. If you just buy one type of tool holder, let's say an ER collet chuck, and try to use that for every application, it may work. ER collet chucks are great for standard finishing and milling applications, but once you get into the more complex applications, let's say heavy-duty milling, or on the flip side, a high-performance, high-speed application like a 5-axis mold work, that's where other tool holder technologies like a mill chuck or hydraulic or shrink fit tool system might actually work way better. To determine if your tool holder is limiting your cutting performance, first thing to look at, I would say, is checking with your cutter manufacturer's recommended speeds and feeds for that material. If you're constantly having to run under that speeds and feeds recommendations because of bad performance, maybe let's say chatter in the cut, then maybe your tool holder is limiting you and you might need to consider upgrading to a better performing tool holder. Runout is another thing to consider. So if you can inspect your tool holder's current runout, either in the assembly on the machine or off the machine on, say, a presetter, and see that the runout is more significantly than you expected, then also a tool with better runout will help improve that significantly. Steep taper spindle interfaces like CAT and BT have been the norm for many decades. They're robust, durable systems that work well at low speeds and for heavier applications. So for heavy milling applications, they're usually the go-to. But once you get into more high-speed dynamics, like say turning at 30,000 RPM or higher, that's where steep tapers start to fall apart a bit. Their inherent geometry is different than the spindle interface. So when turning at those high speeds, the centrifugal forces start to expand the spindle larger than the tool holder and thus create more weak connections. There have been improvements in these technologies by adding a dual contact system. The Big Plus spindle interface added this dual contact to be able to have both the taper and the flange contacting between this tool and the spindle, greatly improving the rigidity of the system and helping to prevent that sinking effect that you get from the expanding spindle at higher speeds. But once you start needing to reach over those 30,000 RPM speeds, then other tool holder technologies like HSK might be worth considering. HSK was specifically designed for high-speed applications. Their hollow bore geometry allows the taper to expand into the spindle, greatly increasing the clamping forces between the spindle interface and the tool holder when you're turning faster and faster, above 30,000 RPM even. Shrink fit tool holders are the most simplest tool holders to use. They have tight runout and good balance for complex machining applications. In a theoretical world, the shrink fit holder is one of the most optimal tool holders to use since there are no moving parts and it's a simple holder. But we all know that in the machine shop, it is not a theoretical world or a perfect world. There's going to be changes or inconsistencies with the way that shrink fit systems are used, especially because there's a heat cycle, heating and cooling that are required, that will change its properties over time and cause it to not behave like it was when it was brand new. Shrink fit holders also have the requirement of needing that heating and cooling system, usually an induction coil system. That adds extra expense as well as inconsistencies if that temperature is not well regulated. Hydraulic holders improve on this by not needing a heating and cooling cycle to assemble the tool. Instead, there is a hydraulic bladder that is compressed via a clamp screw on the side that you only need to turn with a hex wrench. So no heating and cooling cycles that could affect its internal properties and thus change its runout and balance over time. Instead, a hydraulic system can last a lot longer to be able to hold onto your cutters more accurately and consistently. Hydraulic tool holders also have an added benefit of having a vibration dampening effect. The hydraulic fluid in the nose of the tool holder acts as a slight dampening to improve your cutting action and remove some of the chatter. Both shrink fit and hydraulic tool holders require on-size cutters, meaning that the cutter shank diameter must be matched to the tool holder's bore clamping size. When more flexibility is needed for different sizes of cutters, then a collet system might be needed instead. The collet system, with its interchangeability and flexibility of the collapsible collet, the cutters that you can install in there are more flexible. So if you have different sizes of drills or end mills that are needed for an application, the collet tooling system might be worth considering instead. Tool holders are much like the wheels on your car. You normally don't think about them much during your daily commute, but as soon as you start trying to push its limits by going on a cross-country road trip through mountains and forest roads, that's where you might consider getting a more robust set of wheels so that you don't get stranded on the side of a dirt road.